Hello, and welcome to this first case study in the introduction section of this course on brand management. So in this, we will take a look at how can you individually build excellence in brand management before we get into things like what is brand management and how can you build that excellence. So this is a case study of that. And this is a very high value case theme, especially if you are aiming to become a world-class marketer and a brand manager. And it is a challenging and realistic case for students and early professionals who showing how the individuals can build brand management excellence through strategic thinking, emotional intelligence and data-driven insight, not just by running the campaigns. So real brand management, right? So let's dig deep into the case. So this is a case study from called Logos from Logos to Legacy of Building Excellence in Brand Management at an individual level. And there it's about how a new brand manager learned to create and sustain meaningful brand, not just manage marketing campaigns, right? And it is for students or earlier career professionals in marketing aspiring to master brand management excellence. And this is inspired by the real growth journeys from brand managers at places like Unilever, Coca-Cola, and L'Oreal, right? So let's get on with the case study. So this case study starts with a challenge. The main character of a case study, Elena, face mask, name masks, is a 26-year-old marketing graduate from Spain who joined a global FMCG company as a junior brand manager for a local dairy drink, right? Milk product. Now, this product has been in the market for years, right? Reliable, functional, but uninspiring. And that's where the branding comes in. The sales were flat as a result of uninspiring product. You know, social engagement was minimal. And her manager told when she joined was that make this brand relevant to Gen Z without changing the product. So no change in the product. The product is functional, is reliable. So work on the branding aspect only, right? Elena panicked like you could also if you don't know how to do brand management. She knew how to create ads, right? But not how to revitalize a brand. This was her test to evolve from a marketer to a brand leader, to build her brand as a leader itself, right? So that was the challenge Elena faced. So what did Elena do to solve this problem at a deep level? So first instinct of Elena was to run a digital campaign, marketing campaign with influencers, because that's what of us know, right? But the early focus groups revealed that there was something that she did not expect, that her brand was known as just as a milk. People say it's just milk. It doesn't say anything about who we are, the customer said, the consumer said. So we don't identify this because it doesn't say who we are. And that sentence hit her hard. She realized that people didn't reject the product. The product was good. They ignored it because it did not stand up for anything. It didn't mean anything to them in their life. And to succeed as a brand, she had to answer one question that every great brand manager must, right? And what is that question? Why should your brand matter to people's lives? So, brand connects to people's life much larger than the product itself. So, that was the deeper problem. So what was Elena's journey? Her journey evolved around 5P model for building brand excellence, right? So she developed a personal roadmap to, after her realization, to grow her capability, not to just fix this brand, but also to master how great brand managers think. So that is an overview of Elena's journey, right? Now, how did she do that? Let's take a look at step by step the details. So first thing she set up of the 5P was to define the brand's soul. the purpose of the brand purpose. And there, Elena spent 2 weeks interviewing loyal and lapsed customers, both of them, and she discovered a cultural tension. Young people were switching to plant based drinks not only for health but because the dairy felt old fashioned. They did not identify with this product. And so she reframed the brand's role, right? Of to have real strength coming from roots, authentic and natural energy, based on the insight that this brand wasn't about just milk; it was about the authentic nourishment. So using that, insight, she reframed her brand's role. And as a result of this 2 weeks of work, she started building her capability where she learned, you know, to think beyond the product and connect with human values. Because we're talking about brand soul, right? The soul has to connect, the two souls, your customers and your brand souls have to connect for the resonation to happen. The second thing she did was positioning, owning up a clear space in the mind of the consumers and customers. She used a brand key framework that some of you may be familiar that she had learned online, and Elena defined a few of the elements of this framework. Target, target customer, and they were like young, urban, adults, active. And what was the insight? They want natural strength without fats. And then what is the benefit this brand offered? She figured it out. Natural energy that fits your real life. And why should people believe that? That's another element of this framework. Reason to believe because it is locally sourced and is a farm fresh milk. And what was the personality? Honest, humble, and energetic. And she tested multiple taglines, multiple positioning using AI based sentiment analysis tools. And the winning one that she found was that that the brand powered what is real, powered by what is real. So that was her final positioning statement. And this exercise further continued to build her capability of learning to translate customer emotion into brand language. So that was the second step, if we can say that. The third thing was to then making the brand real by making sure that the product experience to the customer is of what you're planning to do. So usual instinct is to change the packaging. So instead of changing the packaging first, she focused on sensory and emotional cues, like added a farm freshness QR code showing origin and farmer story that people started identifying with, designed in-store tasting booths called the Real Bar, and partner with local gyms and fitness studios for the free trials. And she continued to grow in her capability this time by understanding that every brand touchpoint tells a story. It's not just the ads. Ads are only just the beginning. The fourth step was learning to lead with data in terms of performance. So Alina tracked 3 dashboards every week. Brand health index in terms of awareness, liking, consideration, social sentiment for AI text analysis, trial to repeat conversions. And after 3 months, awareness was up 18%, positive sentiment went up by 42%, and repeat purchase rate went up 29%. And her capability, which was her main goal, continued to grow. She learned to connect creative ideas with measurable business results. Because everyone wants business results, even from brand managers. You can't just faff around, right? Can you? The fifth thing was leading the brand from within as a personal growth. That was her ultimate goal. Elena documented her learnings weekly on a digital brand journal, right? And she reflected on what decisions were emotional versus evidence based. How did she balance short term target with long term equity? And what made her proud as a brand leader? And these reflections became her biggest tool for personal mastery. And right. And her capability continued to grow when now she learned in this phase that the brand excellence mirrors self awareness. Right. So that's how she led the brand from within. So the results. We saw some of that. Let's see what are the 6 months impact that happened. So Brand awareness went up from 45% to 63%, not small. 50% improvement in brand awareness. Market share also went up from 6 to 8.5%. Customer retention went up from 48% to 68%. Another, you could say, almost 40% increase. And employee pride internal survey went up from 52 to 82%. And Alina's role as a result went up from a junior brand manager to an associate brand lead, right? So great results, aren't they? So what are the key lessons for students like us, me included, who want to build brand management excellence? First, you need to think about strategic. You need to think strategically, and that means seeing the brand as a system of meaning, not marketing, meaning for life. And to there, you need to practice writing brand purpose statement for real product, and the purpose needs to connect to people's purpose in life. Then on the dimension of consumer empathy, what that means is you need to understand emotions behind the behavior. And for that, you need to conduct mini interviews with real people. On the dimension of data and creativity balance, where you require to use analytics to validate storytelling. To build that, you need to learn basic brand analytics like Google Trends, AI sentiment tools, etc. And on the dimension of execution discipline, which requires you to make brand promises consistent across touchpoints, you need to audit your favorite brands, note what aligns, what feels aligned versus what is not aligned or random. And ultimate aim is to build that self-awareness, which is about managing your own biases and instinct. And to build that, you need to keep a brand journal, record what you assume versus what the consumers feel, right? And what comes true, the ultimate truth. So let's take a look at a learning activity that you can use to actually start building brand excellence, the local brand reinvention challenge. There the objective is to build real world brand management capability as you go through this course. And the steps that you need to take is to choose a local existing FMCG brand that feels outdated. And there will be many. Then you conduct mini research, online reviews, social media posts, customer reviews. Then redefine its purpose, positioning, and personality. Design one activation idea that aligns with that positioning and reflect what emotions did you want to evoke, what data guided your decisions, and what did you learn about yourself as a brand thinker. And you keep this activity in mind, and as you go through this course, keep doing that, right? So, what's the final takeaway? No, brand management excellence starts with when you stop managing logos and start managing meanings of people's life, of the meaning of the brand in people's life. At an individual level, brand excellence means, you know, seeing consumers as people, not segments, not treating them as data, seeing the data as insight, not numbers, and seeing yourself as custodian of the meeting, just not a marketer. So you need to build meaning into the brand related to people, and people need to find the meaning in the brand. So what's next? So we will get on with defining brand management as the basis starting point. We will talk about what is brand management, and then we will take you through how to build that excellence in brand management where you can apply your learnings. So thank you so much for watching this first introduction case study. I hope you're beginning to learn new things, beginning to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need to.